All right, y'all. So welcome back today, man, for some more creepy and bizarre TikToks, bro. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Always got to get that out the way first. Now let's get to the craziness.
All the rich families, the monarchy, all the presidents are all related to these trans-dimensional shape-shifting lizards. All the rich families.
So that's how we starting out right out the gate, huh? Reptilians, huh? You know what I mean? I mean, at this point, you've heard it enough by now. You got to make a decision whether you believe or not. Whether you believe or not, bro, I'm starting to hear it everywhere, not just on TikTok and the conspiracy theory forums. I'm hearing that everywhere, movies, little subtle things I'm paying attention to now, all kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure there's some movies out there y'all could probably drop in the comment section that I could check out and go hear and see some more where they talk about that and dive deeper. I'm here for it. I'm hearing it too much. You got to make a decision now.
Okay, so this is a very slowed down screen recording I took, and I know everybody is trying to find the aliens in front of these guys, but I noticed something insane, and I want everybody, my two friends who will watch this, to take a look down, pay attention to two areas. We're going to look down here on the bottom right behind their fence and right up there, but we're going to first start down here because I found something crazy. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to what I believe is the creepiest part of this video. And I'm going to point out two things you need to pay attention to right here, which is the head. And if you look really close, there's actually a shiny black eye. And what you will see in about a minute is a hand. That, I believe, is some creature, non-human, crouching down. And that was its eye I just pointed at. And I want you to pay attention to what appear to be fingers running up the fence, as if it's kneeling down or something and peering out. And then there you go. See the fingers? And I think I go back and forth a couple times here, but it looks to me like there's a little other or a big creature looking through the fence on the bottom there, crouched down. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but you tell me. And then there's his fingers going right up and down, up and down. Just looks like almost a human hand crawling up the fence. And at the very beginning, you see an eye. And I think right here, I show you the fingers. This is my really poor attempt at drawing over the fingers, but you get it. So what's really interesting about this is it is happening next to them and kind of in front of them, but behind a fence. Yeah, the fingers are really crazy. So I think I'm going to show it one more time, and then I zoom out, and I'll show you what even made me realize this was here. So, okay, so see how many different times we're looking. So what I noticed was if you look at the top right, look at the top right now, there's actually a shadow figure. It almost looks like it's a dense, shadowy figure comes into frame. If you're looking right, at the three fence posts, if you're looking at the top right of them, you're actually going to see something that looks like a shadow figure that has density, and it's only there for about a minute. And when it walks in the frame, I think I'm just going to highlight it right here. I was doing the best I could on my phone. I noticed there was movement below it, so I don't know if maybe whatever creature was projecting a shadow up above it or something. But see, there's the eye and the hands, but it also looks like there's another aspect to it, which is that shadow that you can clearly see walking. I know everybody's looking for the alien in front of them, but there's one hiding next to them. Okay, so this is a very slowed down.
He need to get this footage to a professional that can analyze it, apply different things to it to try to, you know what I mean, enhance the shadows or stuff like that, and really go in depth and break this footage down to make sure or to verify what he's saying is true. Because at the same time, I can't help myself but thinking, okay, it's multiple people walking through this gate. Is that their shadow projecting onto the fence there? You know what I mean? But I couldn't help but also see what he was calling the hands that was kind of protruding through the gate a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. He need to get this footage to somebody who could possibly break this down. We need to know. We need to know, fam. Well, you might be on to something. But until then, if you just put this out like this here, people are going to quick to say, man, that's their shadow. We need some more evidence, proof.
If you were in the deepest lake in the world and were attacked by giant intelligent fish people, what would you do? So there's this conspiracy about this super deep lake and how there's basically an underwater civilization there that some call aliens, and yeah, let's talk about it. So in 2009, the Russian government allegedly declassified these top secret documents, and it was something about the Russian Navy encountering something in the deepest lake in the world, Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is over 5,000 feet deep. That's over a mile deep, so you can see how something could hide from the rest of the world there. The document goes on to tell about how in 1982, the Russian Navy divers were doing this research mission 164 feet deep, which is 50 meters, and that they encountered something while they were down there. They claim that they suddenly realized they were being watched by these humanoid-like figures that were 9 feet tall, wearing helmets and didn't have normal scuba gear. These things that were watching them had become known as the swimmers of Lake Baikal. And when they saw these things, being an average Russian diver, they decided to go and capture one of these 9 feet tall alien swimming things without any weapons or equipment, and guess what happened? Basically, these entities reacted to the divers coming at them and forced all 7 divers up to the top super quick from super deep. And if you know anything about diving, this is really bad. If you're a diver, there were 7 divers and 3 of them died from the bends, which is like decompressing really fast. So yeah, people think there's like an ancient civilization down there, and they see like lights over the lake sometimes and down in the lake, and it's really freaky. It's pretty crazy. What do you think it was? And if you were in the deepest lake in the world,
I think it's possible, man. We just watched the other day a dude do extensive, fam. I still don't think he went to sleep yet. That's how much time he's invested into finding out what he was looking up. But he showed these sort of ocean floor pictures, and it looked like pyramids. And I kept saying, you know what? Those look like underground cities. I kept beating that into the ground. Underground cities. So when I hear stuff like that and they possibly ran into them diving down below, that's even further confirmation for me, bro. Call me crazy all you want to. I just got a feeling that, man, we're going to continue to be at 3% of the ocean discovered for the rest of our lives. Why is that?
But it's the weirdest story I think I've ever heard. His girlfriend, and she seems to be pretty normal and legit, claims that he's an alien hybrid, that he was placed on this planet to do something specifically. Nothing adds up about his case. Nothing.
When examining the body, the coroner's office could not find any fingerprints, even though fingerprints are the last skin tissue to decompose.
But it's the weirdest story I think I've...
No fingerprints? That right there could be the way to identify some people, but what do you walk around to be able to check someone's fingerprints? You know what I mean? How do you go up to somebody who you think is a potential alien and say, place your hand here, let me check something? What's a slick way of doing that, though? How can I do that? Asking for myself. I ain't even gonna say asking for a friend. Asking for myself. How do I find out because that could be the tell sign right there. They live amongst us, they look like us, they're able to blend in, but what if they don't have fingerprints? Might be on to something right there. We just got to figure out how to check, per se.
Listen to it for free on YouTube. They got the whole audiobook.
Did Buddy die? Like
he got killed. He got killed in outside of New Mexico for sharing the all this information. And so like it's like not only do they expose what's going on with aliens, they expose what's going on with like all kinds of stuff. You know, the elites, all this stuff. He talks about all of that. And but the aliens part is super crazy. He's like people were like they agreed with the aliens that they could abduct humans just so that they could learn more about us. But the trick is they can't remember anything. So when humans are taken or whatever, they're not allowed to remember what happens when they come back, when they're put back here. And I just thought it was really cool. The book was just like, you can listen to the whole thing and it's like, he just gives the whole lowdown. But I thought that was crazy. He actually got killed because of he was sharing all this stuff.
And so,
listen to it.
It's interesting that he says that because the other day the lady was like, she was telling her story and she was like, I woke up at 1:30 and the next thing I know is 4 or 5 in the morning and I'm standing in the front yard. That time in between me waking up and then being in the front yard, I have no recollection what happened in between then. So it's kind of like they scramble your memory, or like Men in Black do, they come up and they flashy thing you. You know what I mean? But everybody sort of has those similarities in their story. You know what I mean? Or they just remember a bright light and people standing over them. Everything else is kind of fuzzy and foggy. You noticing that, right? We're picking up this pattern.
The gray thing. Here we have another case of, is this astronaut a liar or is this a true story? This is a story told by an anonymous online user that claims to be an astronaut who once saw an alien in an underground US base. He claimed to have been traveling through a US base that he didn't want to name, as there is only a number of people allowed in and he doesn't want to be tracked. At this base, he saw a person that was gray, and he was definitely not from this planet. Obviously. When out in space, he had seen a fleet of aircraft that he knew were UFOs, but he didn't think we had any contact with them yet. It wasn't until that moment that he realized that not only do we have contact with them, but also the aliens are actually already living among us. The gray thing. Here we have another case.
Yeah, and they're our advisors. How does that make you feel? To know who we think, or to just think about who we think's running the country isn't necessarily running the country. Now, I know y'all feel like some of the politicians are already like puppets and people that have more money and power are controlling them. That's true. But what if you have aliens ultimately pulling the strings and controlling things, and our advisors of what we're doing and where we're going and what we should do next? That could be what is going on, fam. Could you imagine that?
Before, maybe if I would have gone up there, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be somewhere else.
Were they screaming?
They had a screaming like a jackrabbit. How do you call a jackrabbit in Spanish? Liebre?
See?
Liebre. Like when we used to shoot them, they used to squeal, like a baby. That's the way they were. That's why I say, that they were hurt. They were injured.
All of them were screaming? You don't know.
Oh, we don't know, It was off and on, But we were here for about an hour and a half, almost an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, watching them.
You saw them very, very clear.
Oh, yeah. They were, like I said, I could see the 4 fingers, long arms, and they didn't have no ears. So I thought, maybe they had an overall or a uniform. Maybe they had an overall or a uniform. But the mouth was kind of small. And that's what the sound was coming out of. Before, maybe if I...
Listen, I posed that question the other day, man. If you have an injured alien, what are you doing? Are you helping? Huh? Would you like to have a favor owed to you from an alien? Imagine you help an alien out, man. You nurse him back to health, or whatever that is, by the way. But you nurse him back to 100%. And he some kind of way figures out to communicate to you that, thank you, and now I owe you one. How would you feel to be owed a favor by an alien? Are you immediately cashing that in, or are you holding on to that favor? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I just hope I'm never put in that situation or dilemma to where I gotta be like, choose, man, because the opposite could be true too. You nurse him back to health, and as soon as he's 100%, he turns on you and takes you in and holds you captive. What are you doing? Oh man, what are you doing? That's a heck of a decision. I hope I never have to make, because I feel like it ain't gonna always be like E.T. or something like that from back in the day. It just automatically becomes your friend.
I'm a psychic medium. I've never encountered an alien, but I fully believe in them, and here's why. the main reason that I believe in aliens, as most people imagine aliens to be, that is beings on from other dimensions and other planets, is based on a past life regression that I had several years ago. During this past life regression, I visited not only a couple of lives that I had previously lived here on the earthly plane, but I also was shown a lifetime that I spent on another planet, or actually in another galaxy. And it was truly interesting. I was basically shown that in addition to choosing whether or not we want to reincarnate here on Earth, we can also choose other experiences. One of them being a being or an alien on another planet. And in this case, I was on a planet that looked very much to me, the way I was shown it, was that we, the aliens, looked kind of insect-like, okay? And it was very much a hive mentality. There was not the richness of the experience that we had here on Earth. There was nothing scary about it, but it was almost as if we were bees in a hive, all working towards a common goal. It was very military-like, precise. I don't know how else to explain it other than what was shown to me. And the only other person that I was shown that I shared this experience with was my son-in-law, who, by the way, happens to be an alien fanatic, or, is interested in that kind of stuff. Bottom line, my encounter with the alien world was not scary at all. I found it rather boring, and I realized by the end of what I had seen, that wasn't something I really wanted to experience again. I'd much rather be here on Earth as a human being with all of the rich experiences and emotions and challenges, and even, yes, the crappy times that we have here are better to me than just kind of being an android, or like a really boring one, kind of being on another planet. I'm a psychic medium.
Here we go again. We have another proposed question or situation that we can find ourselves in, right? Situation is, if you pass away, you die, right? You're presented with a choice to be either human or alien. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? Huh? Some people, the curiosity is too much. They're going to give into it. They got to know. Some people have spent their entire lives trying to figure out whether aliens exist or not. They've gone to great lengths, great research. They've done everything. They've even bended a few lows, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out and get to the truth. And one of them happens to transition, and they're presented with being an alien or human. They're going to probably just do it for just to satisfy the curiosity. Gotta know what it feels like to be an alien. Now that's going to be in your brain. Y'all may talk to your family about it, your significant other. You may pose that question to them and just see what they say. Y'all let me know in the comment section, please, what people say if y'all ask them that question. How many people you think would choose alien over human? I think it'd be more than we actually think, just because of the curiosity.
When I was in Girl Scouts, I was a part of this troop. At the time, I don't think I was a part of it, but I just my sister was, so I hung out with them. They were having a fundraiser garage sale, so I was helping out, and I was at the Avon table, or someone's mom was selling Avon, and this woman comes up, and she's talking, and we're talking with her, and whatever, and then she proceeds to tell us, me and one other girl, that she was abducted by aliens. And I think about her all the time. I don't remember her name. I remember exactly what she looked like and the story she told us. And I hope wherever she is, whether it's on this planet or in another one, I hope she's doing well. When I was in Girl Scouts,
She ain't get the lady. Somebody like that, man. Y'all gotta at least exchange. This is the day and age of social media. So you ain't directly gotta give somebody your number and be like, oh man, I just want to keep in touch. Maybe I have a few questions. Do you mind answering if I text you or something like that? You ain't got to do that. You can just be like, okay, what's your social media? You got Facebook? Mostly older people are on Facebook, right? So if they're older and they're telling you this, try to lead out with Facebook. Do you have a Facebook or something like that? They're younger, middle-aged, something like that. Okay, then you can say Instagram or Twitter or something like that. But try to exchange information. You don't know why that person would y'all cross paths and that person came into your life, man. But I know I'm gonna have a ton of questions, so I'm gonna be like, yo, let me get your social media. I had a lot of questions, and I don't want to bombard you with them today. So let's link up later. You know what I mean? Drinks on me. You know what I mean? I want to get some drinks in you, that way you can spill your guts. I want to know it all.
In case you haven't heard, the director of NASA, Bill Nelson, has recently come out to make a statement declaring that a report on an unidentified anomalous phenomenon will be prepared by a group of NASA scientists with scientific space sensors, which is scheduled to be released on the month of August. Could this be possibly linked to the recent Congress hearing? In case you haven't heard, the director of NASA...
No. And I would definitely double check your source, because when you hear director of NASA, you know what I mean? That could be spun so many different ways. You know what I mean? We don't even know if it directly came from his mouth. They could just be using him as a front. I don't know. I would definitely look some more into that, though. But this had to be back in, the middle of this year? Closer to the beginning of the year? You talking about this type of stuff? So, or summertime. Let's just say summertime. Have we heard anything yet? No.
Tell a story about an unbelievable supernatural experience you've had. Part 2, I'm going first. So, the gray alien that I saw in front of my tent returned later on in the night. Okay, so a little recap. My partner and I were sleeping in a tent, and we heard really weird noises circling our tent, and then when we get ready to leave, we open our door and see an 8-foot tall, what I believe to be a gray, staring at us. We proceed to kind of run, try not to run. We're like speed walking across the yard, say we're going this way. Just along the tree line, I could see this thing like slipping through the trees. It looked so weird, like definitely not human of any sort. So we run up the stairs and get inside, and when we get inside, his aunt and uncle are already sitting there wide awake because they had a weird feeling. And these are the most like enlightened, in tune people I've ever met. And they're just sitting there like, what's going on? What's going on? Something's wrong. I'm like, yeah, something's wrong. And we proceed to kind of tell them what we just experienced. We all smoked together. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning, so they set us up an air mattress and we go back to bed. The house has a really large dog. There were 2 large dogs. One of their dogs' name was Boomer. Boomer decided to sleep in the living room right next to us that night, and something startled him, which startled us. It was pretty spooky. We wake up to Boomer just making a straight beeline at the sliding glass door, which if we sat up, which was right in front of us, about 10 feet away, he's barking and going crazy and just goes for the door and starts scratching at the door, going crazy. And we sit up in time to see what I believe was the same figure standing at the door, staring in. And when Boomer hit the door and started going crazy, this thing literally evaporated into thin air and kind of shot upwards, just gone. And yeah, we sat up in time just to see the same figure staring at us and disappear right before our eyes. So yeah, that all happened, and I'll never forget it. This was in Humboldt County, California. Not that the address really matters much, but it was in fact 666 Old Wagon Road. I'm not going to tell you where, but that was the address. It was pretty weird. In the middle of the redwoods, and then a friend reported that later that week he saw the same figure pacing in front of this super spooky gate that was towards the beginning of the road. Big, like, military looking gate leading up to a huge gravel driveway. But yeah, this thing was a lurkin', and I believed we survived a pack of them. So yeah, stay on the lookout.
Y'all probably laugh like I did or chuckle when she talked about, yeah, we came back and they were like, what happened? And we told them and explained, and we all smoked together. I know it. I heard somebody yell out, oh, I bet they did smoke together. What were they smoking? You know what I mean? You can't say stuff like that. Yeah, you give the skeptics and the naysayers room to more ammo to fire, man, when you say stuff like that. But anyway, though, I'm starting to hope the government does have an alien in their possession, because now we're hearing they can disappear. Like, their abilities and things that they can do seems to be endless. we hear something new all the time that they're able to do. So I hope we do have one and capture that we're holding, that we're studying his ability and what he can do and figuring out how we can stop it, or at least learn how to do what they do. You know what I mean? What gives them certain powers possibly, or allows them to look like us and blend in. You know what I mean? Different things. I hope we have one so we can have that information, bro, because that's crazy. But listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section and let me know what you thought of these bizarre and strange and crazy and creepy videos. It's your boy L, man. Stick around and stay tuned. Till next one, I'm gone. Peace.